It's been a rough few weeks for the altcoin market. If you've been holding altcoins of any kind except a select few, then it's almost felt like we've been in a bear market. Let's take a look at the overall health of the altcoin market and see if there's more pain to come or if maybe the worst is behind us and better days are ahead. This is Crypto Simulation Theory. I'm the Gaussian Snake. This is not financial advice. So let's go ahead and get started. We'll take a look at total three, which is the crypto market cap excluding Bitcoin and Ethereum. It actually doesn't look that bad. If you look at where we found support, we actually have found support just beneath the 786 fib, right at these highs back from March of 2024. We are still in a downtrend, and the weighted logarithmic Bollinger Band is turning over. Gaussian channel actually looks fairly healthy. So, is it possible we come down more? Sure, it's possible, but things don't actually look that bad, even though we've had quite a big decline, from our double top. Potentially you want to call it a triple top, you could, but we'll just call it a macro double top that occurred on the weekly time frame. However, I think of this more as a formation of a cup and handle. Now, this is technically a very weird cup. I think the cup actually goes all the way to here, and I think we're actually in the process of forming a handle. So it's not a conventional cup and handle, but it kind of looks like one. So my base case is actually just looking at this for a handle to form for the altcoin market. You can also see that the volume, the sell volume has really started to decline, and that's another good sign. And you're seeing the Bollinger Bands compress. So I do think that the worst of the carnage for the altcoin market is pretty much behind us at this point, especially against the US dollar. What about against, well, let's look at some moving averages before we move on to Bitcoin. Let's see where we're at with those. So in terms of moving averages, we do have a death cross of the 20 with the 50. We've seen this before. Usually this takes some time to resolve itself. The 50 is in the process of turning down, and will probably turn down because of what happened here. Could have another death cross of the 50 with 100. We could still see some downward movement, and it is entirely possible that the altcoin market tests its 200-week HMA, which would result in more downward pressure if that did happen. I just don't think it's going to be as significant as it's been in the past with, I don't think this downtrend is going to just suddenly come down here or anything like that and then invalidate this macro uptrend. I mean, you have this accumulation range and just barely the start of an uptrend. So I think we'll keep the 200-week HMA. Pretty good odds of that. Let's go ahead and look at some under the hood indicators. How about the Snabble RSI? Be a good one to look at. Looks like I have wave trend already open. Maybe I'll throw another one up on here as well. What would be a good one to use? Probably the Trix bubble. Let's go ahead and look at that one too. Okay, so what do we notice? We noticed that the wave trend did print a yellow dot back in December, red dot in December, and we are coming down. And it looks like we're probably going to come down further. Are we going to need to come all the way to the green zone? The green zone was last touched in July of 2022. I'm not sure that we do. With Ethereum, I know we were getting pretty close to it, and there's a chance we do get to it, but we don't have to. Snabble RSI has gotten pretty exhausted. It could fall further, but we are at levels where we had it bounce in September. We go any lower than we're in June of 23 or June of 2022. So honestly, Snabble RSI is pretty exhausted. Trix bubble is kind of like just barely underneath the zero line, and much higher than it was in June of 2022. So this is all encouraging for the altcoin market. I don't think there's much further to go. Again, I think March could be a good month for altcoins, at least a recovery month. And I think, we could start to see this turn the other way. And really, I think we're going to build out, if I had to guess, like a handle to this cup, this weird looking cup. It looks more like a saucepan, a saucepan with a handle. But yeah, it looks bullish to me. So on the macro bullish. This is alt Bitcoin pairs, excluding stable coins. Right now, the altcoin market against Bitcoin is at a level of 0.39. So if we look to the past, the low was 0.18. I don't think we're going to get that low. I mean, the Gaussian channel is flattening out. We're getting inside of it. That's a good sign. I think it is possible that alt Bitcoin pairs print a double bottom at 0.35, but I don't see alt Bitcoin pairs necessarily going as low as they have in the past, like to 0.25 or anything like that. It just doesn't seem that way with the Gaussian channel doing what it's doing. It seems like things are kind of flattening out. Had a really nice spike here as well. So probably just some chop. It is possible we tap 0.35 once again. I mean, it is a possibility. Let's take a look at our moving averages. All Bitcoin pairs don't look that bad. I mean, look, the 200 week moving average is right down here at 0.33 Bitcoin. Now we are underneath the 100 week HMA at the moment. We have the death cross of the 20 with the 50 probably death crossing as well. So like worst case, this looks like it's kind of trending up gradually. We could hit 0.33 Bitcoin or retest 0.35. If Bitcoin were to go on a run, it would probably break all Bitcoin pairs down a little bit. But again, I don't think we're going to see anything too catastrophic. And you can see the sell volume coming down as well, just as it was doing with alt USD pairs. If we look to our indicators, maybe again, I don't know why I keep closing these. It's just a bad habit of mine. Wave trend oscillator. Snabble RSI would be a good one as well. Like, you know, stochastic oscillator could be good to use. I think we could also look at the bull bear power trend. I'm kind of curious what that looks like. Yeah. So the wave trend is coming down. It's below the zero line. Could fall a little further, although we are coming into levels of potential support. Snabble RSI also coming down. But again, like look where we're at. We don't have that much further to fall. Like October 24 lows, or we could fall to the April 2023. I mean, that would be kind of hard to imagine, but it could happen. Bull bear power trend is kind of interesting. Like, look at this. You have your really, really horrible bear trend from October 23. All Bitcoin kind of came down again. It looks like we're coming down one more time. Bears are still in control, but look, the mountains are getting smaller. So I really think that we're turning the corner here in probably quarter two and even late quarter one for some better times for altcoins. You know, just when it seems like all hope is lost, things actually don't look that bad. One metric that's not looking so hot is others dominance. So others dominance is the crypto total market cap, excluding the top 10 dominance. And there could be many reasons for this. You know, I don't really want to get in narratives. I just look at charts. That's all I want to look at. We are at some pretty significant horizontal support levels. This would be a nice area to print a double bottom, and that could very well happen as you see diminishing volume coming here. So it's a possibility we get a double bottom here. I'm not opposed to that idea. I mean, look, we had the downtrend and kind of maybe some sideways movement. We are below the 236 fib. There's a good amount of support here. I would like to not see us go this low as we did in December of 2020. So I think finding support somewhere in this area is a likely possibility. You know, let's go ahead and do what we've done with the other metrics. Look at the moving averages. So clearly altcoins have been just decimated. I mean, we're at a dominance of 8.56%, the lowest we've been since June of 2023. We are also beneath the 200-week HMA on dominance. We never really got above it in a sustained way yet this cycle. We've kind of chopped around. I see this as more chopping, really. You've got your bear market drawdown, and then you've just kind of got chop. You know, I really want to see a double bottom print here, and I see us get back above the 200-week HMA more sustainably. Have we seen this before where we've chopped? Sure, we have. We've seen this in the past. It's been more volatile in the past. So, I mean, this is really nothing unusual. And what happened after all this chop was we got a really nice uptrend. Great, you know, beautiful altcoin season. So that could be what lies ahead. It could be. I wouldn't give up just yet. Under the hood indicators are showing the likelihood of a bounce increasing. You know, the bull bear power trend mountains are getting smaller. Snabble RSI is getting down into the really cold zone where it's likely to have a bounce. Wave trend is kind of like, you know, at support levels. It could go a little bit lower. Will it go to the January 2023 lows? I don't know. It could. But, you know, I kind of like what I'm seeing here. It doesn't look like weakness from the altcoin market is going to last for that much longer. It looks like things, you know, could turn around, you know, in the next few weeks to months. So I'm not terribly worried by this either. Yeah, I mean, altcoins are still not in charge of the market. As you can see, we had such a brief altcoin season in quarter four. It was really disappointing. First altcoin season we had practically since for a year, and now we're heading back into Bitcoin season, probably once again. I think this is probably going to be the last Bitcoin season for a little while, though. I think the next altcoin season, when it occurs, will last longer than this one that lasted in here. And it's possible we're also putting in a macro high or low. We may not have to go into Bitcoin season. Personally, I think we probably will. And it's okay if we do. And then chop around here for a little bit. Maybe when Bitcoin goes on a run of its own, we could spend a little bit of time down here. But as for altcoin carnage, I think if Bitcoin starts to turn around and form an uptrend of its own, that should mark the end of some of this altcoin bleeding against the US dollar, although it can still bleed against Bitcoin. I mean, look at this. Look how decimated the altcoin market has been. Very few altcoins have been outperforming Bitcoin. Of note, though, is Aave at 1.9%. That's on Ethereum, right? But it's a bunch of random stuff. Man, Ohm has just been a beast this year. So there's always some altcoins that will outperform, but in general, the market has been underperforming Bitcoin and probably will continue to do so for a little while. Frankly, based on my own analysis, I'm not terribly worried about the altcoin market. It went through some rough times, but if you've survived, congratulations. You've probably made it through the worst of it. There could be some more minor legs down. It's always possible, but I think the worst is probably over for the majority of alts that have gotten hit pretty hard. Remember, some altcoins won't come back at all, and some will come back in very unimpressive ways. So, I mean, if I had to give you any, tips of mine that I use to navigate alts, it's just look for ones that have strong teams, strong communities, fair tokenomics, good token distributions. Do your research before you buy an altcoin. So thank you for joining me for another episode of Crypto Simulation Theory. If you enjoyed the content, please go ahead and give the video a like. Leave a comment if you have anything that you'd like to add, or if you disagree or agree with my analysis. Share this video to other people, subscribe to my channel, and be sure to join my free Telegram group, Crypto Simulation Theory Telegram, where we have hundreds of members just like you who are hungry for market information, which we give on a daily basis. I also have a Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok, so be sure to follow the links in the video description. I'll see you next time. Bye.